At this very moment, Britannia burns.
Going back to Martian Dreams, where actually you conjure an M60 machine gun out of dream snot. That happens.
Technical term.
I'm not lying. That happens. Yeah, that game, by the way, is a game I haven't mentioned in the series yet, but I will. That game is about the Avatar going to see Warren Spector.
Literally.
Because it's Warren, his Dr. Spector. No,
Yeah.
You see Warren Spector because, well, when you're the Avatar, you can just go see Warren Spector, because, yeah, sure. Hey, oh, yeah, Warren. So, yeah, you get a letter from the past telling you need to go into space, like right now. So you're the Avatar, and you go, okay. So then you go on the rocket ship, you get fired into space, and on the rocket ship is Warren Spector and Sigmund Freud. And so now you go on a Martian adventure with Warren Spector and Sigmund Freud. So once again, I must ask the mushroom question. And two, why had I not heard of this game until why was I so scared of this game? Because it sounds like the most awesome game ever.
Yeah.
Is going on Mars and killing things with Sigmund Freud and Warren Spector.
Well, but what's also interesting about that is that this whole kind of Victorian science is actually something that is near and dear to my heart. I mean, if you look at the decorations in my house, there is truly historical stuff like medieval arms and armor.
Mm-hmm.
There's truly futuristic stuff like spaceship parts and spacesuits. And then there's this interesting other thread that goes through this, and it goes through some of the automatons I collect. It goes through a lot of these quack medical devices I collect, and it goes through a lot of art. These kind of these artists that make these found art pieces that often look kind of Victorian, sciencey, but quacky all at the same time. And even though there's this steampunk term that is common these days, but also commonly hated these days, it's either loved or reviled. But long before those terms were ever assigned, I actually found a lot of stuff to be incredibly compelling. I find Victorian scientific apparatus to be, you can pull it apart and look at the pieces, and it's very, very inspirational. And so when Warren decided to help lead the Martian Dreams project, we were all very excited about it. And this was before the word steampunk ever came up, but it's sort of a steampunky kind of thing in a sense. And it's a cool way to get both history and a little bit of technology all wrapped together.
And then there's the Doc Savage-inspired Savage Empire.
Right.
And
by the way, here's some trivia that almost no one knows. In fact, no one in the room I think knows this. This is inspired by Doc Savage. When I made this at the age of 11 or 12 or so, every summer I would do a new type of art with my mother. My mother was, one summer would be pottery, one would be etching, one would be painting, one summer would be silversmithing. So this was when my mom was doing silver for this one year. During my summer break from school, I had just watched this Doc Savage movie where the bad guy natives who were trapping him in a cage, and they could blow this green smoke into the cave that had made these kind of vapor snakes that tried to eat Doc Savage and his buddies. And my mom said, "Hey, what do you want to make out of silver?" And I had just seen those marks on the chests of those natives, and I said, "Well," and my mom didn't see the show, and so I said, "Well, this snake emblem would be really cool." And so she helped me refine this snake, which doesn't actually look like the one on Doc Savage, but but that's where the thought came from. We worked this out. I soldered it on my neck, and it's been there ever since, and has become kind of my icon. But it's really inspired by Doc Savage.
Speaking of children, why do you hate children so much?
I love children. I don't know why you think I have this thing for children.
You love dead children. You love dismembered children.
I do love dead and dismembered children also.
Because this happens. This is a common theme in your games with the violent and brutal axe murdering of children.
That's right. And it probably does deserve a little explanation. So this actually goes back to Ultima 4.
I know.
So in Ultima 4, there were lots of tests of your virtue. And there were lots of things that looked like tests to your virtue, even if I didn't have enough sophisticated code to actually be a test. And so when I was making dungeon rooms, which could have there was no test of your virtue in any dungeon room, because the code didn't exist.
Okay.
But
you screwed me then.
Yeah, so I knew you'd behave as if I made the room look right, you would think it was a test. And so For example, I built a room with what looked like doppelgangers of your whole team on the other side.
Yeah.
And in fact, it wasn't a test, but I knew you might go, oh, should I kill them or shouldn't I? You know, maybe there's some moral quandary here.
I remember.
But in fact, they're monsters, so just kill them. And I made another room where there was a lever in the middle of the room, cages in the corners full of children. But anything in a dungeon room, by the way, is a monster. Any living thing is, by the code's definition, it can be any icon I want. Remember, there were the floors that moved around and attacked you, even in Exodus.
I remember this, yes.
Yeah, so that was just getting desperate for what new monsters you could come up with.
I have no room for icons.
No icons left. The floor is a monster. And so these children were monsters. And when you pull the lever, the monsters are surrounding you and attacking you. And I thought, oh, you're supposed to be the Avatar. You'll probably worry that you're going to lose some points right here before the very end if you kill the children. But I knew they were monsters, so go ahead and kill them. And
that's sick, dude.
But one of our QA testers saw that room and wrote a letter to my brother. And my brother came to me with this letter and goes, Richard, what have you done? And I'm going, what do you mean, what have I done? And he shows me this letter where the QA tester goes, I refuse to work for a company that so clearly supports child abuse. And Robert's going
no, not abuse.
Murder. But Robert's going like, what did you do, Richard? And I'm going, I don't even know. And so we have to do some research to find out that he's talking about this room. And my brother's going, Richard, you've got to take it out of the game. And I'm going, Robert, I can't take it out of the game because I've actually provoked an amazingly strong emotional reaction.
This is exactly how I got, not exactly how, but this is how I got started doing the videos, is because I provoked an emotional response. It was negative,
but it's okay.
But people were watching.
But exactly. And so I was very proud of the room. My brother and my mother and my father all tried to talk me out of keeping the room in the game. I refused to take it out. We shipped it in the game, and no one ever commented on it, ever.
Yeah.
But ever since then, I've sort of pushed the line a little farther. And so with Ultimates 5 and 6 and 7, not only did I always include the homage to the Room of Killing Children, but I often tried to find a way to up the ante as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so there'd be times you'd pull a lever, and instead of opening the door for the children to come get you, you would open the door between a monster and the children, and therefore you would be responsible for the death of the children.
I missed this one. Where was this? This was in 5?
Probably 5.
Oh my god!
Then I think there's one where you pull a lever and the trapdoor opens beneath the building and you dump them all into the lava.
What?
Then there's the Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
the Children of the Corn one. So you go out into the mushroom field and the zombie children all come at you and you have to kill off all the children.
I missed the lava. That's horrible.
Yeah, so there's ones for every Ultima has one. And but by the way, there's a woman who worked for us on Tabula Rasa. Her name is Susan Kath. Susan. And Susan was in charge of making sure that in Tabula Rasa there was the homage to killing children.
You're in charge of this,
and
Susan.
And she didn't do it.
She wouldn't do it, or she didn't do it, or she wouldn't do it?
She didn't do it. She wouldn't do it and didn't do it. Okay. I kept telling her to do it, and she just never did do it. And so the game shipped without it. And so I'm pissed. And so Susan, we're coming for you.
I want this woman dead.
You will die gloriously along with the children in this game.
And Richard shipped a special patch to the game that day, adding the children killing them.
Yeah, there's a movement to like a user group is trying to bring Tabula Rasa back online as a user community. I'll make sure they put back in the children. They'll
put a special like child army task force, like you know the like Ender's Game, a child army that is trained mercenaries.
Exactly.
Where it really started pushing the line for me was when you got to Ultima 7 and you see the ritualistic sacrifice on the Forge of Virtue. Mm-hmm. That kid is freaking dismembered,
literally,
and dissected, and that's not even where it starts getting ugly.
Oh, and by the way, wait till you see what we have in store for this game.
Oh my god!
So for Surrounding the Avatar, so I already had, it was funny for me having this discussion with Tracy Hickman, because how do you introduce to your writing partner that you really want to push the lines of comfort and good taste, potentially farther than you ever have, and so we have a plan. In this case, it's my plan. So if you get to this place and you're going like, oh my god, what sick F did this? Blame me, and you'll know when you see it.
Oh no, well, if I can ask, are you shooting for a particular game rating on this one?
No. I mean,
just gonna let pieces fall with me.
Yeah, let the dismembered body parts fall with me.
Okay. The Ultima 8 was... Oh, actually, no, going back to Ultima 4, where I was afraid was when the children started attacking you, was not necessarily killing them. I was like, okay, if they're attacking me, it's on them. Okay.
Fair.
My question was like, if I don't want to kill them and I run, that's not valorous.
Oh, good.
That's
Good.
not valorous. So now I'm like, he's making me do this
Right.
because I don't want to kill them, but if I run, I'm running from children.
Right.
And if I run in combat, in Ultima 4, if I run in combat, it's cowardly.
Right, but by the way, these are the sort of mental debates I was trying to provoke by setting up the room. And when my brother confronted me about this and insisted I take it out, and as I was refusing, I said, look, there's all other kinds of solutions to this. First, don't pull the lever.
It's a lever, you gotta pull the lever.
Second, charm the children. Third, put them all to sleep. Fourth, if you drop your sword, which you actually might kill them in one blow because they're children, and instead you punch them, they will actually go below 25% hit points, and then they will run away from you. Okay? So there's plenty.
Just punch the children.
There's
punch
plenty
them.
of other.
Hit them until they flee.
Hit them until they flee. But the point is, there's plenty of other options. You don't
Show
have to murder the children.
Show them the back of your fist. That'll teach them.
In Ultima 4, you don't have to murder them, but by the way, in 5 and 6 and 7, you do have to murder them.
Remember, folks, just show them the back of your hand. Like, don't kill them.
Yeah, just child stands up to you. Show 'em what's-
It probably won't kill them. It probably.
Exactly.
In 8, you get attacked by a mob of feral children, which I know is one of your favorite moments, where I just like you're just murdering them with an axe, and then I start scrolling the list of virtues up to like Adagio for strings, and I'm like, this is what you've become, just like,
Right.
Which I think is kind of the point of the game, really, but.
Well, but that's sort of what I did in Ultimate. It's too bad Ultimate didn't get better finished before it launched, because there's a lot of things I really like about Ultimate.
So do I.
But one of the things that's sort of the culmination of is this journey where, I think the virtues that are pointed out in 4 actually are really lasting. I actually really believe that truth and love and courage are some foundational, pillars of goodness that you can at least have as a discussion item. Not that it's truth as in capital T, but it's got what Stephen Colbert would call truthiness.
Truthiness.
And so it's very truthy. But I also like, in each subsequent Ultima, I try to talk about either virtues or social issues with some other kind of twist. And the thing I liked about Ultima 8 was to say, look, if you, say what you want about, pick your most hated religion on Earth compared to what you are, and classically today, you might say that people in the West versus people in the Middle East, have deep suspicions about each other's religious morals, shall we say? Well, going back to your thing, no person who's evil thinks they are. And by the way, in this case, probably neither one of them are evil.
Yeah.
And they both truly believe and in fact are trying to do good in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing I liked about Ultima 8 was saying, okay, well, what if we throw you in an environment where it's perfectly something you don't believe.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to set it up to where it's very, very unlikely that you will think devil worship is really the way you ought to be.
Yeah.
But if that's the world you're in, what do you do about it? How do you deal with it? How do you live within it?
Well, I was going to talk about this later, but I guess this now is as good a time as any. Is why do you hate God so much? Because now, this is you start off with this really, really great system of virtues. It's kind of bulletproof, really. You've got these, truth, love, justice. You've got these things to live for, and it's basically godless. God has nothing to do with any of this. In fact, Britannia is strangely atheistic to the point where nobody worships anything. You got the serpents up there, and the Ophidians kind of worship them, but we don't even really talk about them.
Right.
Nobody really worships anything, and weirdly, nobody even mentions it. And the Avatar comes around. Whoever becomes the Avatar comes around, and he's still got these things going on.
Right.
He masters all that. Okay, you got this kind of bulletproof system. It works out okay. And then every other game past that shows you what a stupid idea that is.
Of what those belief systems
Yes.
are? Or even the virtues are?
Yeah. All of it. All of it.
Oh, no, well, that's because, so the reason why you find me attacking everything, including my own
Even your own.
is because I'm a deep believer that anything, I'm going to contradict myself, I'm a deep believer that anything you believe should be challenged.
Sure.
Because I think that's not it's deciding that you know the truth that sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
And so I don't care what your belief is or mine is, or that I've proposed. As soon as you buy into whatever I propose, I'm going to tell you why it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think that you really need to be more nimble. People need to be much more open-minded and much more self-critical.
Yeah.
And so I both love picking on the relatively easy targets.
Sure.
You know, like a lot of cult-like subsects of religions that get a lot of grief anyway, and I often pattern after them because they're relatively easy to analyze and to put in a way that is obfuscated. But even whether it's major religion or things I propose, I'm just as happy to read it.
So, like, you take my characterization of the Avatar, which is hyperbolic to be certain, but it's fair enough. Like, I go here, I show up on Britannia, and I go, "Hey everyone, I'm the Avatar," and they go,
"I'm here to help."
"I'm here to help," and they go, "That's nice. You are again?" And I go, "Hello, Avatar," and they go, "That was like 200 years ago," and I go, "Statue, hello, help me out, gargoyle problem," and they're like, "Okay, you're the Avatar. What do you want from me?" And I'm like, "Weapons, please. The fate of the world is at hand here. I need some help. Would you please help?" You know, like.
Yeah. By the way, I agree with you.
Exactly.
Completely.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, now I'm not exactly being humble here, but I'm correct. I could.
Well, you could use the help. I mean, obviously, and that's actually one of the things I've enjoyed about listening to your game analysis, not just of my own work, but other people's work too. Is finding those cracks in our young art form, and just saying, guys, it's not acceptable for these kind of cracks to exist. If we're trying to prove that our games are literature, are as worthy as a good movie, we can't have those cracks.
I don't think. What I'm saying is, I don't think it's a crack necessarily. Is where my guy shows up and he starts demanding things, even if.
But that should require. But the game shouldn't not have you be remembered.
Yeah.
If there's a statue to you in the street corner, but the game should dock you if you're boisterously going around like saying, "Aha! I'm here! You know, everybody bow down to me." That might also be bad.
Exactly.
So
but,
but you want to find the correct solution to that situation.
Exactly. So, but yeah, you've got this problem where you've got any kind of philosophical, theological figure showing up, no matter how good the system of ethics or justice or religion is. You've got this problem where the virtues are flawless on its face, and then every game since then shows you how flawed they are. Because what if somebody makes them mandatory?
Right.
And then my character, he's like, "Good news, everybody! I found the Bible. Boom.
Yeah.
Bad news. I just kicked down the door to the gargoyles' holy sanctum and I stole their Bible."
Right.
That's the bad thing, and I killed about all of them.
Most
to do
of
it.
them. Yeah.
To do it. So now it's like I've done this.
But isn't that already true through? Think about it. Think about history. History is full. History and contemporary problems are full of things like the Crusades.
Yeah.
Where people go, "Look how righteous I am. Look what good deeds I'm doing for my philosophy, belief in deity."
Exactly. My guy shows up and goes, "I'm the Avatar. You guys are safe."
Right.
So like my guy goes, "Boom! I'm Jesus, basically."
Right.
And I am.
Basically. Yeah. From these people and their perspective, you are.
And the book says so.
Right.
The book says so.
Right.
I am. So like, what's the problem? And then the gargoyles come up and they're friggin' pissed.
Exactly.
And I'm like, "What's their problem?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "That's our book." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
I took it fair and square.
I took it. No, it's like, you guys are friggin' ugly, and the book's not.
You guys look like demons, man. You got teeth and horns and wings.
And the book says. I don't know what the book says. I can't read it. Like I don't know. There's no rules here. I don't know. So let's send it to space. And then Lord British. By the way, Lord British is a dick in that game.
Well, he's never terribly useful, but why are you casting this particular aspersion?
In Ultima 6, he's like he calls you to the court and he says, okay, the gargoyles, he doesn't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. He's like, the gargoyles are just boiling up from the underworld. They're rampaging an Avatar. We need you to stop them. We need you to. He basically tells you to exterminate.
Right?
them.
Yeah. Commit genocide.
He's like, we need you to wipe out these gargoyles because they are just ravaging.
And they are.
Then they are.
Yeah.
They are, but they're rightfully so. But you don't know this, so you find out why they're mad, and you've devised this plan to bring peace between them. You discover you're the false prophet and all that stuff, and so you go to Lord British, and he's like, they want what? The Codex? Well, they can't have it.
Right. It's so important to us.
It's ours.
It is ours. It's how we built the whole virtues, the whole system
it's like,
of greatness.
This is our thing, and you're the Avatar. You know this.
Exactly
and
right.
So he's not helping. So at the end of the game, you actually go behind his back, and you send the Codex into the
void.
Into the void. You essentially have to force him into a truce with the gargoyles.
Right. Got a problem with that?
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of have a problem with that. So, like, you start to realize, like, there's kind of like some holes being punched in the Lord British character, which I don't think are ever explained.
Oh no, but again, but Lord British, I don't think any of the series would have worked had Lord British been.
Oh, if he just agreed?
Yeah, if he was this omnipotent and or super powerful, either one. If he was either particularly powerful or particularly correct. Or universally helpful, any one of those three would actually bring you to your knees to a point. I actually think you made some great points about things like, if Lord British has literally summoned you from another world to come here and open these magical gateways between worlds, and the amazing amount of power it would take to pull that off, since it's not an everyday event, and then says, hey, by the way, I don't even have a sword for you. You go buy one, thank you. I mean, that's obviously a level of lack of helpfulness that needs to be fixed.
I love that. In Ultimate Underworld 2, he's like, oh, this dome of black rock surrounding us. Avatar, go help. I'll be here. You're literally wearing a suit of leather armor, and I don't even think you have a knife. You're like, I'll go into the sewers then. And you have to go like steal Dupre's knife.
Right. That's why I think and hopefully we'll get this considerably better in Shroud of the Avatar. In spite of our demoing view today of killing chickens, which I could hardly believe that was what the team decided to show. Was let me look, man, that's a tough chicken, man.
Yeah, it's scary.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Beast.
Okay, it took the shot. It took 2 shots.
2 shots. 3 shots. 3 shots.
It took 3 swipes of the Avatar's mighty blade to fell the fowl.
Practice with a new sword to kill a few chickens.
It took 3 shots.
It took 3. Oh boy! But because we used to have this sign on the wall that obviously needs to go back on the wall, and it was the big no sign on top of a club and a rat. And
no rat clubbing.
Yeah, no rat clubbing. Meaning, look, it's just while we need you to have some progression by all means. You need to arrive feeling not so utter. If you're the Avatar hero who's returned from Earth to help save the world, you need to not start out quite so squirrely.
Pest control.
Yeah,
this is my problem.
Yeah.